Hello again to my Year 6 video number 2, and welcome to Science Mr. Robertson. Now, going through mixtures and solutions before our chemistry national test. Dum dum dum. So, mixtures and solutions. What is a mixture first? Well, mixture is when we have lots of different things all together. So, for example, I could have things like, let's say, some atoms, some simple atoms. We need to know some simple atoms, like nitrogen. Let's have some nitrogen there. Let's have an oxygen here, and let's have a carbon here, and let's have a iron here. Let's have a hydrogen, and there's loads more. Gold, I can have silver. They're all different elements. These here, different elements, all in the periodic table. They're in a big bag here. Here's a bag. They're a mixture. I put my hand in, and then I don't know which one I'm going to get. They're a mixture. That's different than the word compound. When they are chemically joined together. So, for example, if I have CO2, that is my carbon is joined onto oxygen. Those are chemically joined together, and that's a compound. However, so they're different elements, but they're stuck together. They're a compound. Here, they're a mixture. And I can have a mixture that has different compounds. So I can have one that has, let's say, I have a CO2 here, and a CO2 here, and I could have some water, a H, and O. It's a mixture. They're different things. I put my hand in, I don't know which one I'm going to get. It's a mixture. And the same way, it could be a mixture of, I don't know, let's have some water and some salt. The water and salt are both together, but they're not stuck together. They're not chemically joined. So I have a mixture of salt and water. A mixture that is a liquid is called a solution. Most of the water we drink is not 100% H2O. It usually has a few other elements and a few other compounds mixed in around it as well. Solutions are important to know about. We need to work out what to do. So here, I have my solution of salt water, and I have my solute, the solid inside, which is my salt, and the solvent, the liquid, is called, of course, water. Those are the two things I have. They make a solution called salt water. And then there's different things I can do to try and make sure that I best separate them. The easiest one is usually evaporation. If I get this here to 100 degrees Celsius, that water is going to pop out from a liquid and turn to a gas. That means I could have the salt left here, because the salt is still solid, and all the water has gone out, and I've got my salt back. That usually is the best way to separate things. But if I want to collect that water again, then it'd make it a little bit more complicated. So I do the same in my water, in my salt, but this time I'm going to collect that and put it in a cube here and make it cold here. Because what's going to happen now is, as it gets hot, so hot here, the water goes up. As it gets cold here, it turns back into a liquid, and it drops down to here. So then I can get them both together. This idea here is known as distillation. It's a common way of making things like drinks. You want the exact amount of different things. Or it's also common for getting fuel. We want to get the right kind of oil, so we need to get the right temperature where it all fits, because oil is a big mixture from the ground of different types. So we want to get the right one so we can burn our fuel better. That's definitely one example here. We can also do a filter process. It doesn't work with salt because salt is really small. But maybe if I put this in here, let's have some salt. And let's have some sand. Sand's a bit bigger. What I can do with this, I can put this in a funnel with a piece of filter paper. So all the water goes straight through because the filter paper has little holes in it. But then all the sand gets stuck here. And this process here is known as filtration, when the bigger particles get stuck and the smaller ones are able to go through. Those are the three main ways you would do separation. There's one more, which is called chromatography. Chromatography is when, if I have different liquids, some liquids are easier to stick to water than others. So it works really, really well if I have, maybe I've coloured this in one colour. And remember, if you have different coloured pens, it's not just one colour, there's lots of different colours in there. In this paper here, the water is here. The water goes up and makes paper wet. As it gets higher, some colours go here, some there, and this separates them. So I can see which ones dissolve and make solution the easiest, because they go further up and they follow the water up to the highest possible amount. This is the idea of chromatography. And if what I'm saying is a bit confusing on that, then you have this awesome chapter here in the spectrum. It's 7H. Chromatography itself is page 99. Have a look. Some nice colourful pictures there too. How this links to video number 1 is really cool, because it's all about making things easy to dissolve. Remember the idea of expansion. If I have my liquid here, let's get 15 particles. 15 particles here. Here's my cold liquid. As it gets hotter and hotter, it's going to start to vibrate more and more and moving more and more. Again, it does expansion. Again, it gets bigger. As it gets bigger, it needs more space around it. So there's more space here for that salt. If it's hotter water, I can dissolve much more in it. If it's a smaller particle, it can squeeze into more gaps. So then I can dissolve more of it in my liquid. Some liquids are really full already, so there isn't any more space. They fit really nicely. Some liquids are really good at having lots of space, so we can dissolve things easily. Think about the particle model when you're trying to show what happens. Remember, the water particles are always moving. If I put sugar in my hot water, after a few minutes it will naturally move around and it will taste really sweet. This is where we use our solutions in everyday life. And I'm having a good bop here, I know. Clicking the book, see if there's anything else that I need to go through. I don't think there is, children. I don't think there really is. No. I'm happy. Hope you're happy too. Any questions? Go to page 104. Good little summary. I love the stuff like this. Video 2. Complete. Adios.